Hello, my rubber hearts. Welcome back to another episode where we dive into all things rubber. Have you ever noticed mold forming on old rubber items, whether it's tires, seals, or rubber gloves? Well, today we're going to talk about why rubber molds, which types of rubber are most sensitive to mold growth, how mold affects both raw and vulcanized rubber, and which industries are most impacted by this issue. Plus, we'll cover some effective solutions to combat mold on rubber. Now let's get into it. Why does rubber mold? Rubber, whether synthetic or natural, can be prone to mold growth under certain conditions. So why does this happen? Rubber, being a natural or partially organic material, in the case of natural rubber, can provide the right environment for mold, particularly if it has absorbed oils, dirt, or moisture over time. Mold needs three basic conditions to grow. One is moisture. Even a small amount of water can support mold growth and on rubber surfaces. Two is warmth. Mold thrives in warmer temperatures, often between 25 degrees Celsius and 30 degrees Celsius. And three, organic material. Rubber by itself is not typically a great food source for mold, but if there's any organic residue, such as dust, oils, or even bio-based compounds in the rubber mix, it can provide the necessary nutrients for mold to grow. Rubber is also porous, especially certain types, and can trap water in its surface. This is a key reason why you might see mold forming on the surface of a rubber item left in a humid environment, like a storage room or a wet area. So, which types of rubber are most sensitive to mold? Not all rubber is created equal when it comes to susceptibility to mold. The type of rubber significantly affects how easily mold can grow. Natural rubber, made from latex of rubber trees, is the most sensitive to mold growth. This is because it's a biodegradable material and contains naturally occurring organic compounds, which can be attractive to fungi like mold. If exposed to moisture and warmth, it's highly prone to mold formation. Synthetic rubbers like nitrile, EPDM, and neoprene tend to be more resistant to mold because of their synthetic chemical makeup. However, they're not entirely immune, especially if they've been contaminated with organic oils or dust. And what about vulcanized versus non vulcanized rubber? Non vulcanized rubber is soft and more unstable, making it particularly vulnerable to mold. Because it hasn't undergone the vulcanization process, it lacks the chemical stability of cross linked rubber compounds, allowing for easier moisture absorption and microbial colonization. Vulcanized rubber, on the other hand, is far more resistant to mold due to its cross-linked structure. This process of adding sulfur or other curatives to rubber creates a strong bond between the polymer chains, making it harder for mold to penetrate and grow. However, even vulcanized rubber can suffer from mold if exposed to damp and dirty environments over time. Now, let's talk about how mold affects rubber. Mold can cause significant damage to rubber over time, especially to natural and non vulcanized compounds. Here's what happens: mold growth on raw rubber can be quick and destructive. Because non vulcanized rubber has not undergone the stabilization process, it's more prone to degradation. Mold colonies can break down the surface, making the rubber weak, sticky, and more likely to tear. Over time, this can result in loss of elasticity and flexibility. Mold can also affect vulcanized rubber, though it takes longer. Typically, mold will grow on the surface, causing discoloration, and in some cases, if the mold is left unchecked, it can lead to surface cracking or pitting. While the internal structure of vulcanized rubber is usually more protected, surface damage can impact the rubber's longevity and functionality. Now that we know what kind of rubber is most vulnerable to mold, let's also see which industries are most affected by rubber mold. Many industries are impacted by mold growth on rubber, but the following are among the most affected. Automotive industry. Tires, seals, and hoses used in automotive applications are often made of rubber. When these parts are stored improperly in damp environments, mold can grow, leading to surface degradation. In the case of tires, the mold can lead to weakening of the rubber, making them unsafe for use over time. Medical industry. Rubber gloves, seals, and tubing used in medical equipment are also prone to mold, particularly because of their exposure to body fluids and other organic materials. Mold can compromise the hygiene and safety of these products, making them unsuitable for use. Industrial rubber goods. Industries that use rubber belts, seals, and gaskets in machinery are at risk, especially if the equipment is stored or used in damp environments. Mold can impact the integrity of these products, leading to costly replacements or malfunctions in the equipment. So, how do we combat mold on rubber, and what solutions do we have to combat rubber mold? There are several approaches. Proper storage. One of the simplest ways to prevent mold growth is by storing rubber products in a dry, ventilated area. This reduces the likelihood of moisture accumulation, which is a primary factor in mold development. Antifungal treatments. Applying antifungal coatings or treatments to rubber products can help prevent mold growth. These treatments form a protective barrier on the surface of the rubber, making it more difficult for mold to establish colonies. Regular cleaning. Keeping rubber surfaces clean and dry is essential. For rubber items that are frequently exposed to moisture, such as in the medical industry, cleaning schedules should be strict and routine. The use of additives. During the production process, certain antimicrobial additives can be incorporated into rubber compounds. These additives inhibit the growth of mold, making the final product more resistant to microbial attack over its lifetime. Mold on rubber can be a frustrating issue, but understanding why it happens and which types of rubber are most vulnerable helps us to find better solutions. Whether it's ensuring proper storage, applying antifungal treatments, or incorporating additives during production, there are many ways to combat mold and extend the life of rubber products. Thanks for watching, my rubber hearts. If you found this episode helpful, hit that like button and don't forget to subscribe for more rubber related content. Until next time, stay safe, stay informed, and stay rubbery.